and laws and changes and oh wait, oh Jovacue, why you say the 2A community got played? That big beautiful he said that big beautiful bill looking real beautiful. I mean, we'll see how it work out, man. They said it's supposed to go into effect January 1st. El Sapo, all right, man. Have a good one, man. Get some rest. Jovacue, why you say the 2A community got played? Because the other things that were attached to that bill and people were only focused on the tax stand part. You know what I mean? I think that is one of them things that a lot of people how I kick you off, bro? Hold on, let me see something, man. Hey Jovacue, can you come on? Rick, I just sent you a request to come back on. YouTube, what's up, man? We talking about this NFL. I said the NFL. This NFA tax stamp thing. I don't know that. IG been acting weird, man. Hold up, what's to stop the next two A administration or anti to A administration from reinstating the tax and making it 125K? Yeah, that would be wild, man. If they come back, if the next administration actually comes back and they switch up the tax stamp to make the tax stamp $1,000. I mean, could I see the government doing that? Yeah, but overall, I don't think it would be that profitable because if you pay 1K for a tax stamp, that's wild. One administration at a time. It would be even better if we didn't vote for that administration either. I mean, I think it's always going to be some pros and cons. What's up? What's up? Bounty Lil, what's going on with you? Chill, what's up? I think this NFA thing, I think this, and what you two, what y'all thinking, man, about this NFA tax stamp, removal and all of this good stuff? Big Will, what up? I mean, I think so I get what Jovic was saying, whereas though the next anti 2A administration can put it back on the registry, but I mean, if they did, that would be a little wild. I can't see them just. I can't see the next administration putting the tax stamps. I can see them putting it back. He said 2 years no NFA is more than enough. That is true, Aaron. But like he said, so what if we had an issue where they try to come back and because they quote unquote lost money, like my man Jovic, you said, what if they come back because after 2 years they say we lost X amount of dollars and then come back and hit us with like some stupid, like really stupid number for tax stamps?
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me on.
Nah, anytime, man, anytime.
Hey, so just real quick, the reason why I say 2A community got played because everyone's like, oh, it's a big one, $200, right? Remember when they did the NFA tax, back in the 30s, $200 was a lot of money, right? So they never created that tax code. I want to say, adjusted for inflation, $200, something like 5K or maybe above, right?
Hey, Sandy.
So everyone's thinking that it's a huge win. Okay, it goes into effect on the 1st of January of 2026, right?
Yep.
And remember, right? The NFA, they wanted to put rifles on there, and they also wanted to put pistols on there, and they never did just because of the politics at the time. So that's why they went with short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, etc., etc. What's to stop the next anti-2A Congress, right? Because remember, laws are written by who? Congress. Not by the president, but by Congress. So people get pissed off because of taxes and everything else, and Congress sways or moves, the other way. Now you're going to have people. Hey, didn't Philadelphia just have like 30 people get dropped over the 4th of July weekend?
Yeah, man, it was crazy. We had one shooting. One shooting was retarded. Like 13 people hit.
On the porch, right?
Yeah.
At Jordan, right? Chicago had a whole bunch of people get dropped and everything else, so people are fed up. So you get that, you get one mass school shooting, and then, not to destroy your life, but you get the white suburban housewives, they start motivating that stuff and everything else. Now in Congress, because they don't want to get a real job, they're going to push that. Now all of a sudden, you get pistols added to the NFA. Because remember, it's not about the tax. It's about the registry.
Laws are written by people in power to rule people with no power. I like that. That's factual.
Tax, but it's about the registry.
It's about control.
Yeah.
Nah. What's up, Aaron?
Not too much.
Nah, I think it would be crazy. I ain't gonna lie. That inflation of $200 when that was a lot of money to now.
Yeah, man.
That
I completely agree though that the legislative part of it makes it very, very difficult to not permanent excitement. I'll take temporary excitement. You give me 2 years and I could just do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, but still, you can't do what you want, right? Because you're still in the registry. And then what's to stop the next administration, whether it's the legislator or the executive,
I think
ask you retroactively.
I think the principle that would apply there under this administration, I think it would be some type of grandfather clause. The administration in place now wouldn't allow that to be retro 2 years from now.
Lex, what city are you speaking of?
The administration that's in office right now.
Because you're not talking about a compact disc.
True, but the conversation we having right now is for an entity that still exists. All of it is hypothetical. The NFA still here right now today. They're not gone. We're trying a whole lot of shit that hasn't happened yet. So it's like I get your point.
That's what I'm saying. It was, everyone that's jumping up and down, man, you kind of got hoodwinked.
Yeah, let things take their position first before you show all of this prowess, all of this, the NFA, like, they haven't gone anywhere yet, and they may not go anywhere. We've been trying to get rid of them for a long ass time.
Y'all want to hear something, though?
Yeah, right. Think about this right here. In Europe and South Africa, I can walk into a store and buy a suppressor over the counter. Now, getting by European countries is hard, but they look at that as a medical device.
Right.
So, I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but where's the win? Because all of us are sitting up there saying 2A, it's a right, it's this, it's not a privilege.
Right. KFC or Popeyes is so random.
But we're going with a registry.
Right.
Now, one time they said that suppressors were firearms, right? And you're not supposed to have a firearm registry. So we got to make up our mind. Which one is it? Is it an accessory? Is it a firearm? Because if it's an accessory, accessories aren't regulated.
Right.
And I'm not a lawyer. I just know that, hey, it's a registry.
So y'all want to hear something crazy? Gun owners of America pretty much saw all of this coming, even months before this bill got signed into law. What they're planning on doing now is they're going to sue to have the entire NFA dismantled. Because when it was
Popeyes just got that feel like grandma's cooking.
It was constitutional only because it was a tax.
Yep.
But it's unconstitutional if it is a registry. So the only reason why the NFA has been around for so long is because of the tax. Now that the $200 tax is gone, and it's only just a registry, it is now deemed unconstitutional.
Yeah,
and Gun Owners of America
is not a tax. Yeah.
Yeah, Gun Owners of America is now trying to light a fire under everyone's ass and get this shit taken care of before the next administration comes into play. They're trying to get the NFA taken out like unconstitutionally because it is now just a registry and it's no longer a tax.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot of legalese to it and everything else. But as soon as you get one organization called Moms Against Whatever, and they vote,
Moms Demand Action. Yeah, I'm very well aware of who they are.
They're going to start doing it because, like I said, I'm a representative. I don't want to have to go and get another job. I want that easy money. I want that long dough.
Right.
So which way are we going to go? Because, again, look at the Supreme Court and some of the things that they've voted on, how they kicked it back. You look at the APA. You look at some of the things that we know they stepped out of bounds. You look at, again, ATF is not in the lawmaking business. They're in the interpretation of laws. And actually, there's no interpretation of it. Either it's a firearm or it's not. And ATF has a whole...
A chin afro
thing that
called the gold tee. That's a little weird.
If you actually read it, and
never mind. Your name is the diddler.
We call firearms and guns don't meet that definition. But again,
that's why they came up with the classification AOW.
Yeah,
any other
other.
Yeah.
No one wants to fight that battle because Uncle Sam got deep pockets. They can print money. I got a back deck. I don't want to give this shit up. Put on orange ain't my color, so I'm not going to fight it because I ain't got that long money. So again, one of the worst things we can really have, one of the worst things you can have is when you're fighting, is someone that's middle class or someone that's comfortable, someone that got something to lose.
Diddy did it, and Diddy got away with it.
I mean, shit, you don't want to go back to how it was.
That part.
Well,
so we'll take it, but remember, man, what they give us, they can take it away.
Yeah.
That's why Gun Owners of America is trying to sue the NFA out of existence because they know that at any time they could put the tax stamp back on. And another thing, they hadn't even changed it in 91 years. They just kept it at $200.
Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is, they can make it be $1,000, even $5,000 if they want to next time around.
That's what Joe BQ was saying. He's like, they could bring it back, and then.
But the opposite side of that perspective at this point, just perspective. If it comes into fruition and they are abolished and poofed away out of existence, if it's brought back for them to reestablish, they have to be reorganized. They can't come back as the same entity that they were because you were already deemed unconstitutional in the last 365 days. You don't just bounce back we're just imposing some shit.
Who deemed it unconstitutional?
At the point of them being abolished is what I'm saying. If that happens, if we get to that point, if we get to the point where the NFA is gone, let's say
if it's abolished, then that's cool. But remember, right? So remember, in order to make an amendment to the Constitution, you got to have so many popular votes and everything else.
Right.
But I can make a law, right? So make a law. If I'm sitting in Congress, I sponsor a bill. Say, hey, I want to attach this to the budgetary bill and everything else in there, right? You got to vote on it. We might change the language, but I'm gonna say, hey, man, do this for me. I'll do this for you. You want to give you that, everything else, right? We're gonna fix it for that. Now, you can get things overturned by executive order, but the problem with that is, if I make an executive order, when Byron comes and takes my seat, he's going to make his own executive orders.
Absolutely.
We've seen Trump do it with bump stocks.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, you're playing with my rights, right?
Facts.
But again, who's going to stand up there and fight that? Because it's like, I got two choices for you. I can give you a little bit of comfort. I can give you prison. You got 5 minutes to decide. And most people are going to fold.
Fact.
Absolutely.
Fact.
It ain't nothing against anyone, man. But
it's the truth.
Yeah, you sit down here and say, hey, shoe program, 23 hours a day lockdown. You like, oh, I'm good right here. This is good.
Yeah, I'll stay right here where I'm at.
Exactly.
the perfect hands, you know where.
No, I gotta grip shit down and move shit around. You ain't eat that breakfast yet, did you?
I did, actually, like 10 minutes ago.
You anything else, Mom?
Uh-uh.
I bought some more jelly, because he goes to jelly quicker than he goes to peanut butter. But you still got peanut butter over here. We got jelly left over here.
I think it's one thing is jelly over there.
But you go through the jelly faster.
Yeah, because the peanut butter things are a lot bigger.
Yeah. And then I bought some chicken. I gotta separate it down. So I will cut them in half. Cut some down for make that what's called stuff. The make from. You can't get none of them. Nothing. Because those laws weren't made for criminals. They were made to keep law-abiding citizens in check.
I'm back, yo.
Exactly.
I'm back.
By definition is someone who breaks the law.
Hey, bro, murder's been illegal ever since we had courts. Guess what? People get killed every day.
Fact.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's just a matter of where you want to spend your money and everything else, because it's like, come on, man. Speeding is illegal. And the fact is, one of the greatest dictatorships in the U.S., in the world, is American law enforcement. Because they got the choice of what laws to enforce when they want to enforce them. If you cross over the median, I'm feeling bored, I can go make business.
At the officer's discretion.
Fact.
If it's to shift change, now I feel like doing no overtime and no paperwork, I'm going to give you a warning. How much you be? Great. I'm drunker than Cooter Brown. Where you live? Right down the road. All right, man. Call someone to come and get you. You know what I mean? It's like, then it goes, you gonna start your vehicle up? I'm not even in it. Well, you was in the car with the keys. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle.
I jumped the back seat to go to sleep. But yeah, man.
They can't arrest 30,000 people from each state. Yes, the fuck they can.
Yeah, they can.
Yes, they can.
Hey, you send them a bench warrant and you deal with it when time comes up. They'll catch you in a humble.
Yep.
Yeah, all you gotta do is go to the right gun range. Hey, that looks like it's a little bit shorter than. Hey, you have a piece of paper for that?
Hell yeah.
I take that one awkward gun range who don't want to mind their motherfucking business. I don't know, look like 16 inches.
And then like the cool thing is, so you're not paying for a stamp, so they're not going to give you any stamps or anything else, right? So this is where it gets wild, because before you show with a
but you weren't here looking at me, right?
You produced a stamp to
you the fat one, my guy.
Department of Treasury or an ATF agent, because those are the only ones that can do it. ATF has purview over it because it falls under the ATF. Department of Treasury has purview over it because it's a tax item. Your tax records are, your personal. So now what happens? And Joe Blow, the local sheriff, comes in and says, "Hey, let me, prove to me that that's legal." Well, they don't issue out tax stamps anymore. So what other documentation am I going to carry to show that it's on the registry?
Yeah.
And again, so now does that make it that local law enforcement can enforce those rules?
Right. And if you fall under that jurisdiction, then they control how they want to implement, how they enforce. At that point, whether you have the legal ramifications or not, I want you to sit in jail until we figure it out.
Yeah, that part. That is crazy.
Right. Who wants to deal with that?
Yeah, it's like the same thing. The safe passage laws, right? You could travel with your weapons from here to there, right? So you're you're traveling somewhere that, let's say Maryland. You're traveling with an AR from Maryland to Pennsylvania, right? I think AR is illegal in Pennsylvania. And you just happen to have one that's prohibited on their by name roster, and it's not a heavy barrel. And you get a cop that don't know anything. The only thing he knows is that AR is illegal, and he jacks you up. Now you run the risk of legal costs, confiscation, and everything else. And depending upon your job, or the job you go to apply for, they don't say, have you ever been arrested? Have you ever been convicted? Have you ever been arrested? Now, it's not that cop's discretion to give you a summons to appear or to arrest you.
Right.
Now you're totally screwed. They need to get rid of it, man, and get rid of it. It's either do away with the NFA or take away all firearms, and we can start swinging baseball bats and hammers.
Yeah, we can go back to the old shit. We can go way back.
Hey, take it to England. Shit, that's what they doing.
Shit, give me a slingshot.
Those are actually illegal in some states.
Yeah. England people up and throwing acid on people.
Yeah, reciprocity, nationwide, all arms. That'd be nice, but it's a lot of states like California, New York, and New Jersey that are fighting it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a win that now you can actually go through a class and carry in those states, but they're not trying to agree to have everybody rolling through their arm.
And even with the access now to the ability to carry, there's still the most fucking ramifications humanly possible. Man capacity, round type, registering a particular firearm to you can still carry, so you can only carry this one firearm. Jersey's fucking retarded. And then they're charging you per fire. That's insane to me. That is absolutely, I don't understand.
Well, and that's another thing. Jersey's like hollow points and everything else, right?
Right.
If you know anything about bullet construction and everything else, you have bullets that have a met plate in them that's not a hollow point. But again, who's going to risk everything they got? Who's going to risk that brand new lawn furniture?
Right.
And go to Trenton Broadway.
Do y'all know how hollow points became illegal in Jersey? Or
I do not.
Y'all know why?
Well, I remember back in the 90s with the black talons because they were so damn dangerous.
Yeah.
That was just
no. So black talons have been made illegal nationwide.
Nah, I'm good, man. I don't need to go to sleep.
No, they're
Jersey.
I'm gonna make money.
They're
some states that can have them.
Yeah, black talons are illegal. There's no nationwide ban on black talons. And here's the funny thing about black talons. Black talons was just rebranded as Winchester Ranger SXTs. They just took the black oxide coating off of them.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And because what they were saying, because I know a lot of people that worked in a level 1 trauma center in New Jersey, and they're saying, the razor talons, they go back and they cut surgeons and all this and all that. The problem with that was expansion was never 100%. So that's not always the case, right? That's why, like up north, a lot of cops in the summertime or spring, they would carry hollow points, and in the wintertime, they would carry ball, because back in the days, you just didn't have reliable expansion.
Right.
Now technology's brought up. You got the flex tips and all that other stuff that aided.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean to cut you off, man, but I'm interested to hear why Dirty Jersey.
Okay. So we've all heard dumb shit in our lives, right? All of us?
Agreed.
Okay. I'm about to add another one to your repertoire. I forget what politician it was, but they deemed hollow points illegal in Jersey because they claimed that they were armor-piercing ammunition. That's the main...
Never knew my winter coat was armor.
Right.
About this armor. This is a nice winter jacket.
Without even proving it, they deemed that they were considered armor-piercing ammunition. So they just outright banned them in New Jersey.
Yeah,
I love it.
It goes back to,
The black talent thing, probably.
Uneducated and everything.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, we do it to ourselves. And hey, it's your social media. If you want to go and mag dump and act a fool and everything else, that's good on you. But that's the image that people are seeing, and that's the image that they're going to use. They're going to cherry pick the worst individual. It's just like if there's a shooting or something happens, and the news goes to interview someone, they're not going to, interview someone that pronounce their R's and, they'll be like,
Facts. They're gonna pick the worst
He's articulate.
representative.
Absolutely not. Right.
You
He's
know what I mean?
educated. No way.
No, it's sheer pandalarium.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you have a lot of these politicians, they go and do these demos, like the dude from California is like, this shoots a fully semi-automatic round as big as a Volkswagen, and this was the round that destroyed the Iranian nuclear thing, and, and, like, come on, man, the recoil so much, it's going to knock your shoulder off.
Oh, don't get me started.
Right?
Oh, wait. How about when they had that one commercial where a politician was saying, this is what an AR-15 does to this watermelon. And they showed a shotgun.
And it was a shotgun.
I know y'all saw that one.
Yeah,
That's
even
crazy.
If you look at it from the purely mathematical, engineering, scientific standpoint, right? I can go get a lever action. I can go get a 4570. I can go plus rounds for it, man. You're talking 3,300 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. You're spending 55 grain coming out of a 18-inch 5.56 is only pushing out 1,300.
Right.
The best.
And people don't understand the mechanism of incapacitation. You talk about small caliber, high velocity round, works on fragmentation. And there's just so much stuff that goes into that. They'll just say, oh, black rifle's bad. We gotta stop it. Okay, let me rock that 4570. And that thing kills dinosaurs.
Yeah,
That's
big boy put it.
Yeah.
We're getting all this stuff from the movies, so it kills dinosaurs. And guess what? The scientists are bringing back extinct mammals, so you might need a 4570.
About that. And you know what? Speaking of which, that's actually the main reason why suppressors were put on the NFA, because of Hollywood.
Yep.
Because they thought they
people
were
actually believe that suppressors actually make firearms quiet.
Right.
Out of their fucking mind.
And that's why they did it.
Well,
hearing safe, ladies and gentlemen, hearing safe.
And
exactly.
Again, it goes back to everyone's not an engineer. Everyone doesn't understand the principles and how it works. Everyone doesn't understand how sound works, supersonics and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're just not going to get it, But again, I'm watching all these movies, and it's just like go out and do some research. Go out and understand some of this stuff, because our politicians, the people that represent us, are making uninformed decisions.
100%.
On with it,
They're just following whatever they're being told.
Yeah, but the problem with telling someone to go out and do research, there's a lot of misinformation out there that they can also find out and learn, and then that'll be what they learn about firearms. Because there's a lot of BS that politicians and anti-gunners put out there that they claim is education or noteworthy, and then you're learning the wrong things from the wrong people.
Yeah, I see that too as a downside. But again, you go out and we go out and we do objective investigation, objective research, and everything else. And that's the key, man. My objectivity is not objective. I'm looking at cherry point things to fit my narrative.
Right.
That's one of those things, because when you look at it, when was the last time someone committed a crime with an NFA item? And not one that was stolen, but like a legal owner of an NFA item committed a crime.
A decade ago or more.
There have only been 2 recorded instances within the last 20 years where a crime has been committed with an NFA item, but they haven't concluded if they were stolen or if they were used by the actual individual that owned them.
Yeah.
So you can't find that information. You just know that they did happen. But I think that they might have been stolen because
you're far between.
You can find it, because the one I'm thinking about happened back like in the late 80s or early 90s. Dude waked the fuck out. And I think he had a Mac 10, and he just lost
it. Yeah.
Yeah, he went Boogie Down Productions before BDP's 9mm went bang. But again, like you say, your firearm owners that have CCWs, or what they call me in your state, they're generally more safe than everyone else that don't take the time to do it. Now you got some of the dudes that go out and road rage and everything else, you know. Again, you got some preachers out here killing people. You got cops killing people. So you got bad in every group, but the vast majority, the people with CCWs, they're more law abiding because they don't want to lose that right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and they don't want to lose that freedom.
Yeah, I worked hard for this. I don't want to get this up. Not
Right.
at all. Right. Not at all.
You know, but yeah, man, it's a trick bag. But
yeah, it's a tough spot to be in.
Facts.
What a time to be alive.
How
about that? What a time to be alive.
I think one of the biggest things is if politics. See, I think politicians don't worry about the education. It's just like because it's politics. Anything for them is just what the people want. What's going, like you said, what's going to keep them with a job? What's going to keep them employed?
It's predominantly rhetoric at this point. Like it's
Yeah.
not even it's and it's repeat shit. They're just reinventing the wheel over and over. No one's trying anything new. Everybody's just cycling through the same shit. Yeah, and it's getting old, man. It's getting old fast.
What's up, Lewis?
Getting old fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, man. We all, and especially people like us that are aware, when we hear stuff like with the guy, I remember they put a mesh up of them together, like high capacity rapid fire magazines, and the one lady was like, "Oh, see these bullets, it has an incendiary tip that's heat seeking." I was like, "Where do you find those at?"
You just
like,
combining words, sweetheart. What are you saying?
Right.
I want some of that ammo. Yeah, I
Right.
whatever that shit is.
Right.
I need a case of those immediately.
Right.
Real shit. He's seeking incendiaries. God.
Right.
007.
Right.
Wow.
And I think,
and again, man, when you look at you look at over the last 100 years, right? And this is I'm not putting on that tinfoil hat or anything else, but this was look at the last 100 years, right? Wherever you've had mass genocides and everything else, what's the first thing they did?
de-arm the people.
People, right? So, Stalin, Soviet Union, China,
Hitler,
right?
And Mao in China,
right? Khmer Rouge,
Milosevic in Yugoslavia. We can keep going.
Look at Rwanda, the genocides there, and everything else, right? So again, and then you look at wherever the people raised up and overthrew the government because they was fucking up. What did they have? The ability to fight back.
Exactly.
Right? They had arms. But see, so now, again, what you do is 4 or 5 generations, you start planting the seed so you can maintain a status quo. This is bad. This is this. But you're a free thinker. You want to dress like a girl and act like a boy, you can do that, Get distracted by what they're doing, but we're going to tax you to death, and we're going to maintain that status quo, that power structure. You don't need firearms. You don't need this. You don't need that. Now you're a subject, not a citizen.
Right. And whatever we deem worthy is what it is, because what could you do to stop it?
Yeah, you have no way, I want to take your TikTok.
Do something about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we're at a point now where I'm going to say 90% of, I'm going to even go constitutional at this point. It all needs to be recreated. And I'll put it in like layman's terms for like a super simplistic way to view it. We are driving on highway speed limits for cars that were designed 100 years ago, right? The speed limit on the highway is 55 miles an hour, but the average car goes 160 miles an hour. The world we live in isn't even aligned to the lifestyle that we live today. We're going off of a constitution that was designed against a group of people who are we weren't even here. We weren't even considered a people at the time. Like it's just not even structured correctly. All this shit need to be redone. They need to start from scratch and rework all of this shit in a perfect world.
From my understanding, the way that the framers wrote the Constitution and how they had the representatives, they're supposed to be everyday, ordinary people that would go back to their districts or their places they represented. And it wasn't supposed to be a lifetime job.
Right.
You're supposed to go in, do a term, do 2 terms, and then
rotate out, right?
But you got career politicians, and that's the only thing I'm looking at. I mean, like they said, hell, who wants to go and work for a living?
Right.
Right.
It's crazy, man.
And again, the same things that if one of us would do, we'd go to jail, but they got a slush fund just to pay off when they do stupid stuff.
100%.
Sexual assaults, malpractice, everything. Shit, I might run for Congress.
Hey, look.
The odds are in your favor. The odds are in your favor.
Y'all party like that?
And I vote for you.
Like it was a stone cold groove, my man.
Mm-hmm.
Boy. So yeah, hey man, thanks for having me on, man. I gotta go. I gotta jump off. I'm gonna stay in the background, man. I gotta do some stuff real quick.
All right, cool, man. Appreciate you jumping on, man.
Hey, no worries, man. You guys take it easy, be safe. I take it everyone got their fingers.
Oh yeah.
On 10. On 10.
Yo, did y'all see some of these fireworks that they had out here? Because I was on YouTube and they had this firework where you light it up, right? And it shoots up in the air like you think it's going to blow up. And then this drone just goes up. Then it's like, it comes back down and hits the ground and blows up. I'm like, yo. Like, I'm all,
fuck that.
like that's crazy.
I'm gonna tell y'all something, and I know y'all both gonna believe. Y'all both
Brandon, what up?
Especially you, Aaron. As I've gotten older, I've realized that fireworks is just a significant waste of gunpowder.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's like,
absolutely.
You know what I could do with all this shit?
Like, blowing it up for no reason. Resources incorrectly. Yeah, man. For entertainment.
But you know what's crazy? Y'all ever think about the fact of they want to regulate guns and all of that? But when I seen that firework that just shoots up and then it just turns over and then launches down and blows up, that drone reminded me of like a military mortar or something. I'm like, and this is perfectly legal to buy. You point this at the neighbor house that you don't like and blow his backyard up.
And honestly, it's this next generation that's coming up. I hate to be so aggressive. I hate to be that old guy that's just mean, but they're fucking retarded. Genuinely. Like, they scare me. And that's the direction that we're going in. Like, who the fuck finds joy in a firework that comes back at you? Like, don't get me wrong. When we were kids, we shot, like, I'm a Philly kid, so we shot Roman candles at each other, but a Roman candle ain't going to send you to the hospital.
Right.
I mean, we used to play with dynamite as a kid.
Right.
The little M80s.
Phone booths and all types of shit. Yeah, I didn't blew up plenty of payphones. Don't come looking for me, y'all. Yeah, take this off. Like, we had fun as kids, but it was a different time back then, It was a completely different time back then.
Facts.
Now these kids, they special, man. They special. They said they should be an NFA item. The NFA shouldn't fucking exist. That's why we on this live right now.
Yo.
Right.
It's just crazy.
Goddamn NFA.
Man, sorry, not to cut you off. Just how they desensitize most things in this country. Killing, death, depending upon your religious beliefs. They push a lot of desensitization on us here. And they even tried to do it in this regard, Oh, we'll amend the process. We'll give you e-forms. We'll make it faster. Bitch, it shouldn't exist. I don't want it to be fast. I want it to be non-existent. I don't want to have to do this shit at all. I don't want to do this at all. You get into a space where, where I'm at now as a builder, I'm like, I can build a rifle every day if I so choose. I got enough parts in here. I could probably wake up every day and make another rifle if I so choose. Exactly.
And I gotta sit back and think, well, damn, is my 13.7 gonna be legal or not legal if I use a bird cage or who the fuck wants to that doesn't even make sense. My muzzle could determine if I'm a felon or not.
Fact.
The length of my muzzle device. That's how fucking stupid this shit is. Even back to what Joe was saying, when you get down to the techniques of it, the shit doesn't even make sense, man. It doesn't even make sense. We are how do you classify these items as firearms with a short barrel shotgun?
That's the point. It's supposed to be subjective and arbitrary so that they can come back and they can reclassify it or
or they can bend it.
Refine it.
Exactly.
We could flex it to whatever case or scenario we need it to fit. Right. You know, it's insane. It's insane. If you buy a Mossberg 500 and you cut the barrel down to 10 inches and then you don't put a pistol grip on it, but you put a foregrip on it, it's an ALW. But if you take the foregrip off, it's an SBS. What the fuck is going on?
Right.
It's the same motherfucking firearm. Whether I put a foregrip on the front or a pistol grip on the back, this shit goes a 12 gauge. It's gonna do the same thing. Like it's just it's mind blowing to me. And then we live in a space, and I don't want to ever be the guy to take away anything positive. FRTs, coming from a guy who has 100% access to full auto, and there's no such thing as full auto, but full auto. What the fuck is the difference? The cyclic rate is like what, 2 round different? Like who the fuck is gonna notice the difference between an FRT and an actual automatic rifle? It's all the same thing. I don't know if you guys saw. They just put out the I don't even think it may be a FRT for the Chris Vector. And there's a guy on YouTube who was running it out of a 10 mil. No issues at all. I think he shot 1,000 straight rounds. He had one mount on it. But out of a Chris Vector, they're designed for that. So I'm like, this is something that we are putting in access to people, but y'all are more afraid of me having a suppressor so that I don't blow my fucking eardrums out when somebody tries to kick in my front door. But you'll let Timmy from Massachusetts have an FRT in his Chris Vector. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm not trying to take away any freedoms. I want all of our liberties. I want FRTs, suppressors, I want it all. But again, for us law-abiding citizens, it's great. Those are our freedom tools. But for those who are willing to do harm with those things, there's no way you can't fucking tell me that full auto is not accepted, but FRTs are. That's mind-boggling to me. But these are the same people. These are the same people. You tell me that a full auto is illegal, but a FRT isn't. Are you doing cocaine?
Well, at first they deemed them that they were illegal, FRTs.
Right. But the legislation wouldn't stand because technically it's not a fully automatic firearm.
Right.
And that's the whole point. That's how they got around it.
And honestly, I've seen it with my own 2 eyes on the range. If you are not intellectually there, you can actually not operate an FRT correctly. You do have to hold your finger in a particular position for an FRT to function.
100%.
Is it a hard thing to do? No, but I've seen some people fuck it up. So
a lot of people.
like, oh, it's not working. No, you just don't know how to motherfucking squeeze the trigger.
Right.
Even same thing with the super safeties. Same shit.
Yep.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, man. I think the FRTs was one of those things because they were like, oh, it's getting a little too close. Now I do think I do feel machine guns should stay on the registry, and this is the only reason.
Yeah.
Because transferables, people have so much money in them.
Mm-hmm.
If they took that away, people really might go postal when you have now your $1 million collection is worth a couple thousand now.
Right. All that pre-86, nope, that don't mean nothing no more. Sorry, sir. All them Tommies you sitting on, they worth $100 now. Go ahead and get rid of them. They heirlooms.
Like I think that would be crazy. But as far as the FRTs, it's like, and like you were saying, so many people don't know how to operate the right. Then you take even something like this deemed like the guy like with the switch, right? Because if y'all seen some of the video from the stuff that happened in Philly, some dude was right on like a Ring doorbell camera. 2 dudes on the porch had a switch. My man closed his eyes and was shooting like this.
And he wasn't even holding the gun properly.
Nah.
I know he got
it was like this.
In American history. I know his shit tore up.
And it's like, so when they take these things, right? And I get it. They're more worried about criminals, but criminals are always going to be criminals. So why are you still punishing law-abiding citizens for what criminals do?
Well, their logic behind that is they don't want to create new criminals. So they know there's nothing they can do about the criminals that's already out there doing what they're doing, but they don't want to add to the criminal element. They don't want to create new criminals.
But
that was their logic, and I'm quoting that word for word.
But this is the thing. When it comes to creating new criminals are created by criminals in a weak-ass justice system. Because People aren't scared of going to jail. That a lot of people now, like, I'm going to see the homies. I'm going up there. It's like a family reunion now.
It's glorified. It's almost praised at this point.
Yeah.
At
Well,
least
you know what, though? Criminals are also created when new laws are put into place. Because, Byron, you and I were a felon for about, what, almost 18 months when that whole pistol brace bullshit happened?
Shit, I think the whole world was.
Right.
Yeah. We were felons for about 18 months.
I know a good 200-300 felons. Shit.
Right. But see, the thing about it is so crazy that when they always say, like, with the mass shootings and all this, oh, we need to ban this rifle and do this and that. So what you're saying is you want criminals to be better armed and equipped than law-abiding citizens. Because that's what's going to happen. Because law-abiding citizens don't want to go to jail. Criminals don't give a damn. So
or y'all going to legislate us so far that we're gonna be out here with a fucking SCCY with a fucking 5-round mag, y'all gonna legislate us down to nothing.
I don't know if you heard, but the SCCY went out of business.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Okay.
But that's quite literally my point. Y'all gonna have us out here with nothing. It's ridiculous, man. And again, to the point, you know, those who are going to do illegal acts, they're going to do those acts regardless. But I'd rather have my big ass swinging stick when he come with his. If he gonna bring his baseball bat, I want to bring my motherfucking sword. If he bring his sword, I want to bring my motherfucking rifle. He bring his rifle,